Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 of QPad versus Kaipi. We've just seen what was perhaps the fastest teamfight and rampage of all time in Dota 2 history, but we are here in game number 2. QPad have taken game number 1 on, well, the back of a 1 second long teamfight with an Anti-Mage and Magnus RP. Game number 2, though. Time for Kaipi to bounce back, and they've gone for some very similar picks. I'm God from Beyond the Summit, and joining me is Blaze. How are you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. That was certainly something. Still trying to recover from that epic of a team fight. You just don't get past that easily. But it seems like Kaipi is trying to press forward, picking up, seeing, you know, when you can set up a 5-man rampage in 1 second, you got to say, hey, that hero's pretty good. Pick him up first pick. So that's what they're going to opt for here. Magnus is the first pick there, and then they pick up, of course, Bane and Clockwork to make their lineup work a little bit more in their favor.
Yeah, Kaipi have been loving this Bane pick. Gyrocopter's sort of been the flavor of this weekend almost. It's been getting first picked in games. Here it's, well, the first pick for QPad, not the first pick overall, as Kaipi did grab the mag with that one. No surprises there. This hero able to win games just on itself with one big RP. That team fight, while Anti-Mage is the one getting the rampage, it's not happening if it isn't for the reverse polarity of the Magnus from Select. So it's going to be QPad this time up against the Magnus. We'll see how they handle it. They've got Gyrocopter and Queen of Pain so far, so looks like we see Sing Sing handling the Queen of Pain. Gyrocopter sometimes played as a support, but considering they've got the Leshrac for Jarex, it looks like more likely we even see Wagamama playing it as a farmer.
Definitely. And then Clockwork's going to be picked up by Bone7. He really loves that hero in the offlane. Has a lot of potential to get some really cool initiations on the hooks and find some great opportunities that most players would pass by. So, great player there. He doesn't rush the Aghanim Scepter like Fog does, but he still gets some good bread and butter items, maybe a Drum of Endurance or a Mechanism, before starting out proceeding in towards that inevitable Ags where he just goes for those big picks. And in this sense, he can divide the team fights up effectively. I especially like him up against the Leshrac because all the cast animations of Lesh require a certain period of time that the battery assault just won't allow. So if he can pick him off solo, Lesh will just be kind of rearing up over and over without actually getting anything done.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The Clockwork is a hero which is sort of situationally like ridiculously strong, and even the situations where he's not sort of crushing people with the strong cogs mana drain, the health drain from that, he still have a high impact because of his ability to engage in with a hook shot. He's a great sort of thing to combo or lead things up, and if you hook shot in as a Clockwork on a single hero, it sort of forces your opponents to group up a bit to protect them, and that's where Mag can sort of sweep in with that big 4-5 hero RP. So we'll see how Kaipi look to play around this. They do still need some sort of a carry for Eternal Envy, but there's still plenty left in this pool.
5 seconds.
Most definitely. So right now, at this stage, of course, they're going to try to put Queen of Pain on the mid. Presumably Sing Sing going to be picking that up there. But they've been trying things differently a little bit with their roles here and there. And obviously a lot of different potential with each individual. Either way, if the Gyrocopter is the key farmer, what do you think is the best carry that Kaipi have in the pool available to try to counteract it?
Against these heroes, I think so far Anti-Mage is still looking like a decent choice. I mean, we saw it last game. Something which Kaipi can play. Alchemist, you mentioned a bit last. I don't think Alchemist will work too well. I think they're just a bit too many melee heroes that get kited around. Anti-Mage, sure, he's melee, but he's very mobile. He's got Blink, and he doesn't really have to come to the team fights. He can split push. He can just show up when he's needed. And I think he fits in a lot better. Alternatively, you're looking at something like, I guess, the Luna. But I don't think that's a hero which has sort of been seen a whole lot of play as of late. And it doesn't really fit the Kaipi playstyle. So if anything, I would say PL or Anti-Mage here.
Sure. I mean, yeah, they don't have the Keeper Light to help it out in that regard, but they still have plenty of setup here, and they're willing to go forward. Again, QPad looking to ban out those that work well with the Bane. I mean, Zizu is raring to go with the Nightmares, and they just have to have Pilates, whatever he decides to pick up to kind of follow it up there. But we saw some dynamic lanes situations where they had the Earthshaker down on bottom, helping out the Quap for quite some time, and we kind of show that it doesn't have to be a tri-lane versus tri-lane or even like a 3v1 scenario for these guys. They can switch things up a little bit and find these little advantages here and there. So that's a pretty cool thing to see. One game earlier in WePlay today was a Clockwork and a Keeper Light dual lane. It seems a little weird, but it was able to crush the primary farm, I think, Alchemist, that they were shutting down because, of course, it's pretty much the two high lane presence heroes of a tri-lane, just without the carry. So they definitely can go for some dynamic lineups, but in this sense, I'm assuming it's going to be Bane in part of a tri-lane down bottom, Magnus in the mid, or sorry, up top, I messed that up, but Bane in part of a tri-lane up top, Magnus in the mid, and Clockwork offlane bottom.
Yeah, that to me looks like the way. Kaipi are a team who more often do run the mag at mid. Some of these teams, QPad especially, run quite a lot of offlane mag because Select generally plays it. But Kaipi, it's probably going to be seeing... Generally, I think a Rise plays the solo mid mag. And then it'll be Bone 7 maybe on the offlane Clockwork. We'll see how they look to do things here, but we'll have Zizou on his Bane, Eternal Envy on some kind of a carry. And I like the Lifestealer ban. Something actually sort of slipped my mind that was still in the pool, and I think it fits in very well if you want to get aggressive. But at the same time, I don't know if it would have been a great way to end the draft for KP, because Lifesteal, the issue is you can't really play him as a one-position carry unless you have that secondary carry, whether it's a Queen of Pain, a Templar Assassin, something which offers additional damage, and you haven't got that. Clockwork and Mag are both teamfight heroes, so whatever carry you get is going to have to carry a lot of weight, do a ton of DPS, and that to me is where Anti-Mage is the best choice.
Yeah, most definitely. And as you mentioned, the Lifestealer kind of slipping your mind there, but I think it might have slipped the mind of the draft in general. Game 1, he didn't get banned or pegged through the entire series. 100% did not get mentioned at all. And the Chinese scene, the Southeastern Asian scene, they respect Lifesteal a lot. They consider it pretty much the most powerful carry. And in this sense, it's kind of surprising not only to see it making it to the secondary phase bans along with an Ursa, but also just not getting selected at all at the previous one. So I guess that part of that might have to do with the fact that Bane is picked up so early in Kaipi's draft, and that's something QPandas doesn't want to jump on, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we'll see where they look to go from this. I mean, without the real setup for Ursa, I feel like he's quite weak in lane unless you're sort of expecting there to be an offlane where you can get the easy farm. And I think it's just something which QPad say. They know Eternal Envy likes him. They know KP have run him a couple times recently. They'd rather verse an Anti-Mage than a hero that's a lot more unpredictable. A hero they're not comfortable versing. Even if they think the Anti-Mage is the bigger threat, it's like, okay, we versed an Anti-Mage, hundreds of times before in the past. Ursa, you versed maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I think this 4th pick Rubik is really, really good for Kaipi. It's not the best for their own personal lineup, but it would be amazing in the hands of QPad Red Pandas. If they don't ban it out, they had to pick it up here. And in this stage, they just don't want that. Because, of course, lanes, Leshrac getting set up for a Split Earth after the Telekinesis. Laning against a Magnus, you can Telekinesis, lift him up in the air. And then, of course, as far as spell steals go, Bane ulti is so easy to steal, and Magnus's reverse polarity is so darn powerful as well. So it would have been a great threat, and if Kaipi didn't ban it, they could not possibly have let it go through here.
Yeah, as Juggernaut going to be picked up for QPad, and this is, I mean, a nice little pick to give them some strong lanes here. Something you can go offensive trialing with if you really want. And then we see, alternatively, we see sort of the 3 cores: the Gyrocopter, the Queen of Pain, the Juggernaut, unless Gyrocopter is being played as a support, but I'm
thinking about that. If Gyrocopter's a support, do you think they could run Lone Druid?
The problem is, looking at their trial, and where do you get the kills? You have no slow and no... Oh, I mean, Jerak's known for hitting Split Earths out of nothing, so maybe...
Sure, fair enough.
Maybe you can have like a well-placed Split Earth, but you don't have any reliable slow or stun to lead things off. KP are going to go for the Anti-Mage. It really feels like it was the only choice. When you've got both Clockwork and Mag, you need a carry who does it all. Maybe you could go for Luna and try end the game before 30 minutes, but if that doesn't work, you're screwed. So Anti-Mage is sort of the best all-around carry.
Yeah, has a lot of flexibility. His spell shield really great against the Queen of Pain, and in general, I think he'll be able to get in a position that he wants to be able to pick off the supports on the back line, so that can't be a major threat. We don't see it as often, but if Leshrac starts getting a little bit tanky because of some early kills, then suddenly it's a force to be reckoned with, and you have to burn it down quickly before the Pulse Nova starts doing more damage than your team can really sustain in the middle of a fight. I mean, yes, they'll have the mechanism, but they probably won't have the pipe. And as such, they're going for these heroes that can survive very, very well against that magic damage with the Null Field of Rubik, with the Spell Shield of Anti-Mage, and they can jump in on the backline, screw over the Queen of Pain, the Leshrac, and kind of pick them apart from the center of the fight and break around it. Yeah.
So last pick for QPad. I guess we'll see if the Gyrocopter is going to be a support or not with this. This is... I hope they just go offensive trialing with some kind of a stun. The Leshrac Juggernaut +1. There we go. It's going to be a Venomancer, so no stun, but it's a reliable slow to help out the Juggernaut. We'll see Gyrocopter, I imagine, as a safe lane farmer, and that puts Juggernaut offensive trialing, Queen of Pain at mid.
Yeah, I think they have to go aggressive, because if they go 3 versus 1 against Bone 7's Clockwork, a Gale into a spin, you're not going to actually be able to get that kill. Like, he's just going to be happily sitting in his cog. He might be very, very slow, but you cannot actually get your damage on top of him. So, in that position there, they have to be looking for a try versus try, QPad, that is.
Well, we'll see how the lanes sort of come out now, but I'd be very surprised if QPad don't go for the offensive trial. It looks like they'll want to shut down the Anti-Mage farm right from the get-go. If KP want to disrupt it, they can send Anti-Mage mid, can send him to the offlane, can do something a bit more crazy, but right now, I would expect them to go standard. Anti-Mage, Bane, Rubik. Remaining. It's a defensive trialing up against the offensive trialing, but they can just look to use pools, deny as much as possible.
Should be pretty interesting, this matchup here. As far as late game scalability, we've seen what an Anti-Mage plus a Magnus can do, but on the other foot, Gyrocopter, of course, played by Waga, he's going to be able to dish out a ton of damage incidentally, and the Manta-style illusions should drop really, really quickly from there. He can pretty much pick apart a team fight, especially with Juggernaut, kind of providing that secondary source of firepower. As you're kind of talking about it with the Lifestealer, the Gyrocopter definitely benefits from a single target hero like Juggernaut with an Omni Slash to dish out the damage that he cannot provide other than from the AoE.
Yeah, the flat cannon and the cooldown really does help set up a nice Omni Slash. We're going to see QPad go for an early 5-man smoke. I'll quickly introduce those guys. It's the QPad Red Pandas. We've got Mini playing the support Venomancer. We've got Waga playing the Gyrocopter. Sing on the Queen of Pain. Jerex on the Leshrac, and that puts Select on the Juggernaut. So maybe even sort of like an off-lane suicide Juggernaut, but I think more likely the offensive Trailing coming out. They're trying to find a pick-off here at the top lane.
They just might. I mean, Eternal Envy doesn't have Blink skilled up just yet, but Gale's not really going to connect. So they have vision, the enemy doesn't. They did have the high ground aspect.
They saw it now.
Oh, they certainly have.
Venomancer got taken out of smoke, and there was like 10 pings spammed up by Kaipi as soon as it happened. And I think they know there's 5 heroes here.
Now they have to be very careful about how they move about the map.
Ooh, I don't think this is going to work. I think Jerex also just revealed himself as well when he poked his nose out. But we'll see these heroes return to their lane. Sing Sing going to check this top rune, be soloing up the mid lane. Anti-Mage will spot him out. And as a result, it's like, okay, there was 5 heroes top.
Sure. Good observer positioning, though. They still might be able to get something accomplished. Even though they know that they were there, they're going to go on in, and this Gale could be critical.
Yeah, this looks like first blood. Select, he's there with the follow-up spin, and there's no escape for Zizu, unless it's a knight. Rubik should have maybe gone for a deny there with the Gale on him. It's worth a shot, but he plays it further back. They will pull the creep wave here. Envy actually maybe able to do some decent damage on Select here. They can't kill him off, but decent damage nonetheless.
Stout Shield avoiding a lot of it, though. He would be a half health or below if he didn't have that Stout Shield. So being able to tank it up like that, not too big of an issue for him. And of course, getting the first blood on the Venomancer is going to allow him to be a lot more mobile. Right now, only 290 MS, but he has boots of speed already. Just bought it outright.
Waga's got Haste Rune level 1, Rocket Barrage, and he's just looking to go to town in this Clockwork. Clockwork has to target his creep wave, and he's gone for this early cog, which is a bit of a problem because it means he's just being chased down. Bone 7 may actually go down to an early first blood here. Needs to cog soon. Push Waga away from chasing. Waga decides himself he can't chase. The haste room wearing off, but does a decent amount of damage to Bone 7. But he has a salve, so actually I think that's not too bad for Bone 7, considering it chews through a lot of Waga's mana.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but the creep wave came on through, mitigating some of the damage from the randomness of the Rocket Barrage, and so it wasn't actually able to net enough to make it very, very relevant directly. Either way, I really, really think the Mini is going to be a very big threat, because we already talked about how they love to smoke gank, so we'll probably see that quarried up relatively soon after the bottle of the Queen of Pain. But with Mini already having boots, he can really jump in a great position to drop down any of the supports. Rubik's already so darn slow. Comparing the Venomancer's 340 to that of the Rubik's only 290, Pylida can easily get picked off, even if he has vision of the enemy.
Yeah, I like what Pylida is doing here, using these pulls further back. Well, it looks like they do have the normal pull open to them, but pulling this small camp, then pull it to the big camp, denying a lot of XP from this offensive trial, which is the way to deal with an offensive trialing stronger than yours. You starve them. You deny them XP, deny them farm, which is what we're seeing happen from the Rubik. We can even see that happen in a second from Zizu here, using this small camp, well, sorry, not the small camp, the regular pull camp as well. So Rubik gets himself some XP and gold, killing off that big Wildkin, and he's just going to keep on pulling.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Sentry Ward that's placed there will block it off. It's in the perfect position to negate it, and from there, you're going to get one quick pull, but in the end, it's not going to change too much of the fate, because little Satyrs, they're not going to kill a single one of those lane creeps.
Well, we'll do get a few more creeps here denied over by Pylida, but the Radiant team's QPad are doing the right thing of dealing with this, using this pull of their own, which you can do at the top lane, which will deny some XP and farm from the Anti-Mage. Also pull the wave back, because the big issue is Anti-Mage under his tower can farm somewhat more reliably. Sure, it's harder to last it against a tower, but it's even harder to last it against 3 heroes than it is against your own tower. So he gets himself some decent CS here. And right now it's Queen of Pain at the mid lane, though, who's sort of pulling away as far as farm goes, managing to oust this Magnus in mid.
Yeah, I mean, he has Invisrune, so he's not going to have too many issues surviving, but as far as actually being relevant in the lane, and it's just a really hard matchup to win. We already discussed that a little bit previously, but he's not going to find many opportunities. We get a Sentry Ward down on this easy camp, so we're going to see that messed up with a little bit, and actually they're re-aggroing the creeps so that they can burn them down gradually. But one major result of the back and forth here is that neither one of the number 1 carries have actually found that much farm. Early on, Eternal Envy only sitting on 13 CS at almost 3.5 minutes, and along with that, the Juggernaut only sitting on 6 himself. So neither carry getting too much out of that position.
Well, we'll see Envy getting put under more pressure here as Mini as well as Jerks are looking for him. The good news is, it's not a very lockdown-heavy lineup coming out from QPad. Venomancer doesn't offer a whole lot. Split Earth you can't really lead with, so until Sing Sing, I imagine, goes straight for something like an Orchid, but apart from something like that, they can't really gank or kill Anti-Mage, so as a result, they have to try and kill him. He's going to get caught at top lane, blinks away. There is going to be a follow-up stun. The second Split Earth may actually be enough to kill him off. Envy only has the 1 point in Blink, and
he got it, but
lands, but it's too late.
He could have got him right over here to the west, and he just was hesitant, thought he might not connect it. He definitely could have, but...
don't think it would have been enough to kill him with the magic stick there as well, but it would have been worth maybe a shot, but that's the good news for Kaipi. Anti-Mage doesn't have anyone who can really kill him or counter him, but that means QPanda, all they have to do is shut him down. The only way they can beat him is to shut him down early, which they're doing with this offensive tri-lane.
Yeah. Pretty much they need to make sure the Orchid comes out before the Manta Style, like what happened last game. Between the Queen of Pain and the Anti-Mage, and then from there, later on, move in towards Scythe of Vice, since he's probably not going to pick up a BKB against this lineup.
Yeah, it's all going to be relying on Queen of Pain to just completely snowball, which so far is sort of on track to do. When you've got this sort of early farm lead at mid, Mag's spending a lot of time getting runes, which means he's a good level, almost level and a half behind the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain level 6, Mag just about to hit level 5.
Yeah, really, really far behind. And some of that's denies, some of that is being forced back, and a lot of that is moving around for the runes. He's gotten an Invis, he's gotten a haste rune, but really, what has he accomplished with them? So in that position there, Sing Sing in full control of the mid.
Yeah, you pick up the rune, and then he just goes straight back towards the mid lane, which means he's missing XP and farm. Sure, he gets the rune, which he can then use to heal himself up with the additional bottle charges, but he's better off bottle crowing than he is going for runes.
Yeah. Interesting experience preference right now with Pylade. He did so much pulling on the eastern side with that easy camp. He was the one to get all that experience. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but the end result is that Pylade is at level 4, where Zizou's just now hitting level 2.
I think Pylade offers a bit more additional DPS, but I think part of that choice is just because it's a lot more reliable for Rubik to use the pulls, because if you slightly mistime it, you can use the telekinesis to pull the neutral into your creep wave. So I think it's more just reliable, because they had to use those pulls, otherwise this top lane would get completely destroyed. So they say, okay, Rubik's the more reliable puller, let's just use him.
They do have one last pull coming out for Rubik here. Actually, no, they dewarded the Sentry with a Dire Sentry down to the bottom, so they were actually able to free that up, but a nice little Plague Ward. It makes it more difficult. Oh, he's just going to keep on spamming that. There's no way that he can get this pull off.
That's 16 gold is nothing too shabby.
Yeah, he'll be okay with it, but the fact that he doesn't stack the easy camp limits how much experience he's going to get out of it.
He got probably almost the same, like only slightly less from killing those 2-3 Plague Wards than he would from killing the small camp. He's not going to be able to stack it like you say, but it looks like, nope, he mistimes that small pull. He's not going to be able to get in top lane. Anti-Mage still under a bit of threat. He's got 21 CS against this. He's out-farming Select, so for Kaipi, Eternal Envy, he's going to be really happy with how this top lane's gone.
Yeah, right now, Arise just really wants to get his ulti. I didn't really mention this, but Arise has been playing Magnus many, many times today, and he actually has made quite a few plays. He's kind of a playmaker himself, so when he's on point with his polarities, it really shows, and they make a big impact. They have a great follow-through with a number of one of their abilities, so I definitely think there's a lot that they can accomplish with that. A lot of experience going down bottom lane. Bone 7 able to get to almost level 7 now, so he does have a bit of an experience advantage over the ranged hero Gyrocopter. That's just pretty much not going to be a factor until Bone 7 looks to TP. As soon as he heads up towards that top lane and looks for a big hookshot, they can make a big 4v3 happen.
Yeah, he's getting decent XP. The farm isn't really there. That's the one thing which we're noticing. QPad, they're two 1v1 lanes. They have much stronger 1v1 solos.
Yeah, they're just spinning down.
They're poking around. They're looking more. I mean, steal some farms, steal some XP. Anti-Mage gets a deny off, but the two 1v1 lanes being heavily won by QPandas in terms of CS. But the Trilane versus Trilane, it's Envy with the slight CS lead. But the problem is the solo heroes are the playmakers. They're the ones who control the mid game. So even though Envy's doing okay at top lane, if Queen of Pain and Gyrocopter have a much bigger mid game, it's not going to matter for the Anti-Mage. So we've got to see Mag, despite the fact he's behind in CS, he has hit level 6. He is up to 900 gold, so we will be seeing Arcane Boot soon. He's going to be the one looking to rotate around, set up some kills, and the supports are actually mid, so maybe we even see a kill attempt on Sing at mid lane.
It seems that Gyrocopter would be a much easier kill, because since they have the hookshot in the cogs, if Bone 7 bottles up here, he'll have enough HP to actually engage. And from there, I think they'll have a much more probability of bringing him down, because Sing Sing has that rank 2 blink and is sitting pretty much fully topped off. So it's much better to make this decision down bottom.
And the supports have spent so much time pulling, I don't think Waga expects this. His team are probably just telling him, oh, the supports are just pulling.
Too. But for right now...
Yeah, there we go. Hookshot to lead things off. We are going to be careful. A cooldown with some Rocket Barrage could do a lot to Bone 7. He gets out. Well, gets out of the second cooldown. The first cooldown does hit him, but easy kill going the way of Bone 7.
If they had only known the core was coming, they could have technically waited just a little bit longer, but nah, obviously just good enough to get the carry kill and bring that down. But meanwhile, up top, the Plague Wards plus that Edict pushing down the tower rather quickly, and with this Healing Ward to back it up, they have a full try-push lineup, honestly. I think they expected inevitable rotations.
Yeah, we're going to see a TP immediately coming from Rubik. So it was bottom, then TP's top, just to make sure they can try defend this tier 1 tower at top. So they really want to make sure they can not let this tier 1 go down, which I think is pretty important for KP. What am I talking about? The Edict does get used and not really too much effect. Yeah, I'm starting to like babble shit here. It's really late, and I've been casting way too much. You as well, I think.
9 games to, or game 8 right now.
This is game number 8. All right, we're doing solid. The teams as well. I've been casting 8 games, but these teams have been playing 8 games.
Yeah.
This is both these teams' 8th game in a row. So big shout out and thanks to those guys. Be sure to follow some of your favorite teams and players. I don't think either of these teams have a Twitter, but definitely a lot of these players do. Waga, Seeing, Eternal Envy.
Yeah.
But right now, it's in the balance. This game 2, and this is a game that KP have to win. They're down 1-0 after that crazy game 1.
In this position here, is that going to be a Blade Mail rush from Clockwork?
I don't think so. Oh, well, I was about to say, I don't think... I saw the Robo Magi and wasn't expecting it, but maybe. Alternatively, he's going back to the mech.
Drum, he has gone mech, and he has gone Blade Mail. So it's any one of those 3, or maybe 2 of those 3.
I think first item Blade Mail does not make much sense. It's
not at all, honestly.
You want to go for the mech... It's some combination of mech and drums, or maybe you go mech with treads here because he's got the boots there, but I don't think you want to be going straight Blade Mail. That's not
the only thing I really like about it is if Gyrocopter, since he has ranked up his rocket barrage quite a bit, if he pops off the barrage and you immediately answer back with Blade Mail, he has no choice but to do a ton of damage to himself, and that's pretty much the only terms in which Clockwork can engage 1v1 up against the Gyrocopter in close quarters, because you do get the little stuns, and if you can answer back the barrage right back in his face, I think it'll be a lot better for him. But I don't know. Again, first item.
It's great in the lane in the 1v1 matchups, but we're hitting the 10-minute mark. This is going to quickly turn into a lot of ganks, a lot of roaming, and team fights happening, which is where Blade Mail isn't all that effective. It's only really useful in the 1v1 against the Gyro if Gyro's popping the rocket barrage, which isn't going to be the case for much longer, I imagine. Although we are going to see a rotation. Homing missile actually going down on Clockwork, but Clockwork's got backup. It's Rubik once again, and a level 6 Rubik at that.
With a big Healing Ward steal, man, that's going to be immense.
We're probably going to look to steal one of these.
Top lane. No, Blink again. Anti-Mage, why are you so survivable?
He's gone early. I love this early treads here. Envy realizing... I mean, he'll probably go back for the Battle Fury, but having the treads to help him out in this lane early on is going to be very, very useful for him. And there's their engagement at bottom lane. Hookshot to follow things up. Wagamama, where's that Blade Mail? No Blade Mail is up. It looks like it's going to be Bone 7 taking a ton of damage. He's going to get the kill, but he's going to pay
deny. Yes! Oh, he could totally go for the
No, he doesn't even need a deny. RP gets used. Bone 7's still alive. He's got bottle charges to heal himself up. Bone 7 is A-okay.
Yeah.
2 kills out of that as well. Arise with a nice little rotation. Sure, he only kills off the Venomancer, but at this point, support kills is pretty useful.
It's kills. I mean, it's been a very bloodless first 10 minutes of the game, so actually getting a little bit of a kill advantage is really, really
It's not like he's doing much mid. He can't really contest the lane against the Queen of Pain, so rotating, getting a kill, helping out his team is fantastic.
So yeah, in that position, committed the polarity, but he saved Bone 7, who would otherwise meet an utmost certain death with like one more right click his direction. But no, really, really good transition, and they made a lot of happen. Sing Sing actually tanking up the mid tower. Do you think he wants to go all the way with this now?
No, it doesn't look like he will right now. He gets it down close to deny range, but not fully to deny range. He'll wait for his team to join up, and now we're going to see them go for the T1 tower, making sure it can't really be denied with 4 heroes there. The big thing is here, we see XP going the way of KP with these recent kills, but Goldgraph is still in QPandas' favor with the slight farm lead, especially on their 2 solo heroes. Sing Sing with 84 creep kills at 12 minutes in. He's done fantastic, and he's about to maybe get a T1 tower for himself, or at least for his team.
Rotation up top. They're going to be sending up Select to duel it out a little bit, but draining out all his mana. Select doesn't really have too much ground to stand on. He won't obviously be scared of the anti-mage bringing him down, but nevertheless, it's kind of frustrating.
He needs to get scared now because he's taking quite a bit of damage from these creeps here, but Envy already backing off.
Sing Sing rotating pretty well, though. He popped off the Haster and was maybe looking for an opportunity. Now coming back on the mid, but there's 2 people. 1v2 seems a little bit ballsy, even for Sing Sing.
Even with RP on cooldown, well, he may have enough damage to kill off the Rubik, but getting Mag would be very unlikely. They're going to go for a smoke now, KP. The 2 heroes only. And this is good timing because RP's about to come off, so...
They got called down.
Ooh, wow. Called down a nice little steal here. And, I mean, by the time they find a kill or a gank, RP will be back up, and this is probably something QPanda aren't expecting to happen this soon considering RP is still on cooldown. But as soon as someone comes to defend this bottom tier 1 tower, there may be a gank happening.
Yeah, 30 seconds left on that cooldown, and of course RP just coming off cooldown. This is the timing they need, but unfortunately, there's nobody to really show. In this case, there will be a kind of a little bit of solo push from Bone7. He is going for that Blade Mail Rush. New meta, obviously. But no, they're not going to be able to get too much. Rubik farming with the cooldown.
Wow. Straight Blade Mail. This is a first for me. I've never seen something like this, but we're going to see both teams going for a bit of a push. This time it's QPad at top, and they should be able to get this tier 1 tower now. With Glyph is there, but I don't see any defense coming. The Edict is going to be popped, not even going to use the Glyph. And Radiant team, they're trying to defend the bottom tier 1, and it's full HP, so they definitely can choose to do so. But I think more than anything, they're going to go for a tier 2 at top.
Yeah, they definitely can keep this push rolling. I mean, Jarex has a level 3 Edict, so he's able to dish out a lot of damage. The healing ward, we've already mentioned the push potential there, and they're ready to rumble. The big thing they have to make sure is they don't get caught in a Ryze's ultimate, but they see him down on the bottom lane. He has a TP, but there is plenty of delay involved in that. And although they're taking the tier 1 for kind of a pseudo trade, look at how fast this tier 2 tower drops.
Yeah, tier 2 going down fast. I think this is okay for KP though. They couldn't really fight this given the positioning of their heroes. They smoked 2 bottom. They could TP top, but they were just out of position. They didn't have the necessary vision really either. So going for the tier 2 for tier 1 trade, not the worst case scenario for them. It seemed just to be the best of a bad position for them. As KP still fighting bottom lane. The good news is now we've got a Ryze with enough gold for a Blink Dagger.
I mean, they don't have much counter push built into their team whatsoever. The Rocket Flares have been flying out non-stop, but other than that, Fade Bolt, it's pretty mana reliant, even though he does have the Arcane Boots. So they do pick up one thing, but they only have so many towers left, 3 outer tier towers, as they do keep on dropping left and right. So they need to make something happen, and this Blink Dagger on a Ryze is exactly what they are looking for to make that happen.
Yeah, and we're seeing this slow and steady gold increase as a result of these towers going down. 3k gold in QPandas' favor, and that's with what, a 3 for 1 tower difference. So it's entirely tower gold that's making up the gold difference right now. It looks like KP have pretty much caught up in terms of farm for the most part. Sing Sing still leading the way, but Anti-Mage, Mag, Clockwork all doing fairly decently. And Clockwork, we mentioned, the Blade Mail is 8. Now picks up a Belter Giant Thing. That's the thing with Blade Mail. You need to increase your raw HP.
Do it with flair.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's exactly what he's going to be following up, just going for that. And I think he'll be in a pretty good position from there. Orchid up on Sing Sing, though. He is unfortunately solo against Eternal Envy, so he'll be able to put some harassment damage in, but it should not be a kill. He thinks it should be, though. He's committed hard.
Envy, just the 1 point in Spell Shield is more than enough here. Sing Sing, he's thinking about a blink screen, but he just wasn't quite sure about what was waiting behind the Anti-Mage.
Yeah. That is a lot to commit for a kill that wasn't going to happen unless he followed up with the blink scream.
He's just blinking around the trees. He's probably even going to go back into this lane to keep on farming now. He's healed up enough? No, he's going to go heal. He'll have that top lane to himself soon up, but it's bottom lane.
Hook shot is something, but
yeah,
I don't think on target. Yeah. It must have hit creeps or something.
It looks like it missed, or like you say, hit creeps. If it hit a hero, they got away right after, so... Well, Anti-Mage's back towards the top lane. He's going to keep on farming. And, well, this is good for KP. Try fight as 4 without sort of overcommitting. Don't go for a full-on 4v5 ballsy engagement, but take a little fight while you're giving Eternal Envy space to farm at top, although there's a Queen of Pain lurking nearby. But Queen of Pain, as we just saw, can't kill him on his own, and that was with a Sonic Wave, so without it, definitely no chance.
Plus, they have full vision. Dire Wards are actually really good, and they pinged him out like 3 different times. He has a haste rune, but still, they have the rotations, they have the mindset, and they can
blink RP.
respond.
They can actually kill Sing Sing with real ease here, even though he's got a haste rune. Blink RP, he's dead.
Full vision, but yeah, they have to time it very carefully. Coming on in, I think a Ryze wants to go for it. This would be a really good kill for them. They're losing bottom anyways, or they're getting a lot of pressure that way, but not just yet. There we go.
His blink RP. It looks like Eternal Envy's blink was on cooldown. He couldn't blink on in time, and it looks like Queen of Pain is actually perfectly fine here.
That was absolutely nothing. The shockwave misses, no right clicks coming out of Eternal Envy, and the hasted Sing Sing. He's just like, whatever.
He's baiting them around, buying time for his team to take a tower at bottom lane, it looks like. Select going for the tier 1 die. We'll pop the glyph here. As Sing Sing has completely backed out of top lane, and that was just, I guess, in some ways miscommunication. The main thing was that Mag didn't realize that the Anti-Mage blink was on cooldown, because Anti-Mage had to blink as soon as Mag popped blink and RP. They had to like time that perfectly on top of each other, which just didn't happen. And it's also a level 1 RP. The stun duration at level 1 not quite as impressive as that level 2 stun.
So at this stage, they're still kind of battering down on that tier 1 tower. With the reverse polarity on cooldown, do you think they can pretty much just go up against whatever, or do they still have to be a little bit cautious about what Kaipi brings?
I mean, the one threat is maybe a blink skewer back for a pickoff, but you've got Jug in the front lines who can Blade Fury out of there. Also has an Omni Slash, and Gyrocopter who's fairly fairly fun. Well, not really. He's going to have looks like a phased drums build, but just going to give him some extra stats here. So I think we're going to see QPanda go for this tier 1. Sing Sing, once again, pressuring the Anti-Mage. I don't think he even cares about these kills. I think he knows. He's a pro player. He knows he's not killing the Anti-Mage, but he's saying, I've got all this mana regen. Orchid has a really short cooldown. May as well use it and slow down the Anti-Mage farm.
Yeah. Putting down pressure on Arise. Pretty much just doesn't want people farming. He actually does slow down Arise. He's going to be forced to skewer up the cliff. Now, I don't think he can, but still putting a lot of pressure out there. Goes in the trees. If he had the scream, he does.
Okay, just.
Wow.
Narrowly gets that one, and Mag gets taken out. The T1 tower as well at bottom going to take a fall. So QPanda, at 90 minutes in, they get their second kill of the game, but they're ahead by a decent margin regardless of that fact.
So
he gets down very low. A hookshot there would have sealed his fate, but that would have also probably sealed the Clockwork's fate.
Blade man, don't have to worry about damage you're taking.
You pop that and no one's going to go near you.
Obviously, spiky's scary, so that's what we learned from Nyx Assassin, is people just hate to attack things that are pointy.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now, drop it down. Towers. Kaipi has 2 remaining on the battlefield outside of their main base. And honestly, after that's down, Roche is going to be hard to control, and I think with a single Aegis of the Immortal, they could really be looking to take high ground.
No, definitely agree, and that's what we're going to be seeing QPandas look to do. Get some map control. Maybe we even see a gem pickup just to deny a lot of this vision from the dice. Especially Venomancer, he's sort of an ideal gem hero, but right now, he's just going for some normal wards. Looks like a magic wand as well. Level 5 only on Venomancer, so we're not even seeing the maxed out plague wards just yet. We are 20 minutes into the game, which is quite a late point to be at as a Venomancer, but he spent a lot of time just getting map control, having plague wards, being annoying in the enemy jungle, slowing down sort of the pools at top lane, so you can't really fault him for playing poorly at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, what he's lacking in experience gains, he's making up for giving his team so much cash from helping out with these tower pushes and just dropping them down so quickly. I mean, the goal graph right now is well over 5,000 advantage, and Waga's looking to expand that even further with some nice play on the Ancients that are stacked up nicely for him. And he does have a Shadow Blade as well, so if you think about the Sing Sing ganking up on Eternal Envy issue, where like he walks away with 20% HP every time, imagine a Gyrocop with Shadow Blade, 2 right clicks, and suddenly that's a completely different story.
Yeah, I know. Something Wint was actually talking about earlier. The Shadowblade build, I feel this game for Gyrocopter isn't really ideal because they've got such a lead. They're taking all these towers. They actually want to go high ground before 30 minutes. I feel going for something like a Drums BKB or Manta BKB or Drums Mantle, any combination of those 3 items is much better for pushing early on. This Shadowblade, it gives some decent damage, but it's not the best
going up highlighted down bot. He gets him.
Caught that one, but Select. Well, nice little pick-off for him. Any pick-offs QPad get right now, they'll use ultimates for solo kills. They're quite happy that they don't really care about team fighting, so ultimates for solo kills is more than worth it.
So, in this position, Battle Fury finally up for Eternal Envy. The Ancient Control is going to be a big factor. They have it stacked up on their own cooldown, actually, up on top, just trying to dissuade them, but there's the RP.
Got no Shadowblade as well. Envy not really wanting to risk going back in. He gets it skewered back to him, which is sort of the safer option. Blinking in into potentially sort of more backup heroes would have been dangerous. Sing Sing has now arrived. He's got Orchid. Ultimate over there as well. He's not going to be able to cancel this mag TP, and we will see the retreat now. But Anti-Mage needs to be careful. He's low on HP, and this time Sing Sing does have enough damage to kill him with that Sonic Wave.
Yep. Has to watch that there. But in general, he has a lot of backup in this position here. They don't really have any silence lockdown, but they still have that Fiend's Grip. Didn't have to commit it on Waga. And now we actually see the initiation.
Oh, Envy. He's caught out. The hookshot will actually buy him some time. It looks like that's going to save his life as well. Sing Sing, he's caught out by a Fiend's Grip. He's dead. Venomancer pops the ultimate, and I don't think that ultimate's going to do a lot of damage to the Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage can almost go hunting here. It looks like he's not going to do so. He doesn't quite have the mobility to chase after the Venomancer, but what a big kill there. Anti-Mage even gets it, so that's 2 kills in succession on both Gyrocopter as well as Queen of Pain into Eternal Envy's pockets, and that's what QPandas cannot afford to do. They had this solid lead built on Tower Gold, but 2 kills like that to an Anti-Mage, and he'll quickly get up to that Mad Style. He'll quickly start to get out of control, and the QPanda lineup do not have the disables to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. And in that position there, they were just able to get those 2 ultis off. They only popped the polarity on the Gyrocopter, and though that's kind of a big cooldown, comparing that to all the other hard lockdown things they have, last game, the Bane had a much harder time of finding a good Fiend's Grip. In that situation, you had the Anti-Mage had the mini stun of his ultimate, and everybody else had just a standard stun, Chaos Knight, what have you. They each and every single one had a way to stop the Fiend's Grip. In this game, you've got the longest delay of a homing missile on the planet. You have an Orchid, but Sing Sing was the one that was actually ultied in that stage, and then you have the 2 second or the 1 second delay split Earth, and the ultimate from Juggernaut. So all those can come through, but more and more we're going to see Kaipi actually getting full duration Fiend's Grip off, and I think it's going to be a really big impact on how these individual matchups work out.
They're not really reliable disables is the thing. Something like a Juggernaut ultimate, homing missile, doesn't. You can't really rely on these to cancel off these spells. Leshrac Split Earth is most reliable. There's going to be a hook shot at mid lane. It looks like Kaipi want to take this fight, and the RP catching out too. Select as well as Wagamama both take a quick fall. This is fighting without Antimage. Antimage is getting the tier 1 tower at top, so Kaipi getting 2 kills. No tier 1 tower at top. It looks like Envy getting a bit scared here of this one until he maybe sees Sing Sing at bottom lane. But right now he's going to quickly realize this top lane is completely empty. It will get glyphed up. He blinks out immediately, just sort of not wanting to get ganked out here because he doesn't have a Manta Style and Orchid could seal his fate. But Kaipi, you got to feel they're really back in this game.
Yeah, we might be seeing game number 9. A 3 best of 3 series, you just got to keep it going. But yeah, in this situation, they're really bringing it back. They did have a very substantial gold disadvantage, but we see it dipping very gradually, and more so in the experience, where they were already at around 0, and now they're taking a major advantage. That adds up into levels, translating into a Anti-Mage, which is nearly maxed out. Of course, the Mana Void, extremely powerful against these int heroes, the Leshrac, the Queen of Pain. And then on top of that, we do see the Arise and Bone 7 also picking up a couple of key level 11 charges, so they have the rank 2 ultimates.
Yeah, and Anti-Mage is getting really big all of a sudden, which is, to me, the key thing. For QPat, they've got to make something happen soon. They really were off to a good sort of start, slow, steady roll, as far as the early game start with the tower after tower, decent item progression, but suddenly things have just stopped. They haven't really picked up anything in the last 5 minutes. They've only been giving away kills. They haven't taken any more towers, and finally they seem to have gotten something together because they've grouped up as 5. They're going for this tier 2 mid. Edict going to look to do some decent damage to bring down this tower, and right now, Kaipi not in a position to defend this. Mag RP on cooldown for 20 more seconds, so QPat get themselves a tier 2, but they're possibly losing a tier 2 at top, and they also lost a tier 1 to Envy.
Envy has to get out.
Look at this, he's not even getting out. He knows they have no disables.
So confident.
He looks at their lineup and says, wait a second, I don't have to TP out. Queen of Pain is... Well, I guess Queen of Pain could have come.
Yeah, that's it. That's Sing Sing, and as long as you don't see a purple ring, you're pretty much set.
Envy would have been looking at the colors of those TPs, and if it's not Queen of Pain, he's not scared.
100%. Now we do see smoke coming on through. Arise with that ultimate available again. They could actually go for a pick off on Sing Sing. We were talking about how there was some potential with the one up top. This one, it's going to be much more coordinated. It's much more timed. Everybody's ready to go. And I honestly think that if Sing Sing doesn't watch himself, he's going to get picked off. But it does look like he's fallen back, at least for the moment. And Venomancer is the one to the north, which they're just walking right on by.
Well, we'll see. Radiant team look to rotate towards bottom lane. Oh, Sing Sing.
Oh,
he blinks right into the worst possible position.
Go.
Not even going to need an RP because they've got the Fiend's Grip. Here comes Select though. Meanwhile, in the backlines, it's Mini who's got to TP the hell out of there. He'll do so just in time. Doesn't get scattered up by this clockwork. Looks like they actually ping his position, but they're a little bit too late to catch him out.
But this is big map control for Kaipi. They've been behind so much on towers, they have not been able to control things, and the wards have generally been going in favor of QPanda as well. They've been more active about it and getting a couple of good D wards off. So in this position here, getting that kill, opening up the ground, I mean, what do the other 4 heroes on the map, other than Queen of Pain, have to bring into an open battlefield? The Omni Slash is a bit scary, but you know it ends after 6 jumps, and then from there, you're pretty much on even terms. Yeah. So they can take the Roshan, they can get some great wards up. Look at actually these creative ward placements they put out in the Dire jungle, or in the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, I feel like the best decision Kaipi did this game was to just gank out the Gyrocopter, because right now Gyrocopter Waga just doesn't seem to offer a whole lot. He's going back for that BKB, but he's 0-4-0. He's not been involved in a single kill. His farm got slowed down so much. Even with Ancient stacking and killing off these Ancient stacks, at least, well, there was one big stack he killed off once. He's really far behind as far as overall farm, it feels like, considering how well Antimage is doing.
Yeah, I'm looking at Envy. He's got his Empower, he's got his Battle Fury, and he's just like, hey, here's a rampage in the jungle. Being able to bring down a triple stack of Ancients in like 4 swings. That's a lot of gold. That is a ton of gold, and I think that might be, yeah, his Manta Style fully complete with 2k in the bank. So he is just sitting high and dry right now.
Well, he's got big shoes to fill after Sing Sing's Anti-Mage. We'll have to see if we can get anything similar coming out from this. This mag, I don't know if you've seen this mag, but he's picked up a Shadow Blade.
Nice, nice.
This is baller status. I'm liking this.
Well, I mean, they're not really looking for detection. I gotta mention that. I mean, as far... Oh, wait, no, they do have a gem. They have a gem on Mini,
yeah,
so...
I'm about to say, I saw that Venomancer gem earlier on. And this is what QPad need. They need to get map control up. They want to be the ones sort of preventing Kaipi from being able to play safe and farm. If they don't have vision, they can't do that. So the gem makes a lot of sense here, but it also means this mag Shadow Blade. I guess Venomancer you can look to kill off pretty easily in a fight and negate that gem.
Yeah, they definitely need to take care of Venomancer in this one. He's so darn squishy. I mean, he's level 7, as we've mentioned, so in this position, it shouldn't take much to just, cleave on through 900 HP.
Sing gonna go in on Pilot Eye. Clockwork with a hook shot. Doesn't land as perfectly as like, but here comes Eternal Envy. He's gonna get focused down. RP is decent from Horizon. That's gonna be enough, hopefully, to turn this fight around for Kaipi. At least that's what Antimate just hoping for. He's gonna respawn in a second. Gem is on the ground. Bane, no Fiend's Grip up anymore, and Eternal Envy looking for that next target. 3 heroes, 4 heroes actually dead. Queen of Pain bought back for that one. And the problem is, Kaipi, they're all low, but they're not dead.
Yeah, and that's what happens with a Venomancer Ultimate. It takes so long to actually deal its payload that they're not going to die. It's non-fatal, and of course, in that situation, they can all walk out. The buyback came out from Sing Sing so darn quick, but it just didn't change it. Once he got back on in, they'd already had Anti-Mage backup. He respawned, and that was just exactly how they wanted to play out. Again, Zisu's Fiend's Grip on Sing Sing, not interrupted at all, because their disables aren't reliable to do so. Leshrac has to get in a great position to interrupt Bane, and instead, whenever Sing Sing jumps in aggressively, he's going to pay for it until he picks up a Linken's, which I actually believe is probable, given the situation.
Yeah, it's hard. He really needs a Sheepstick if they want to be able to kill Antimate, but if he wants to survive, he needs something like a Lincoln. So it's really this. He's torn between the two items, and the bigger problem is buyback there is going to slow down whatever one it is that he's going to be going for. His Lincolns or Sheepstick is going to be much, much later now.
Exactly. Whatever he has intentions for, it's going to take its time. And so, in this next, actually, Smoke will kind of fill the answer to the question. I was going to ask, do they have 8 minutes until the next rush fight? What do you think they need to accomplish to actually get to that stage where he has the big items? But this Smoke could just be that.
Yeah, it feels like that's their only option, is go for Smoke ganks, because BKB and Waga is so far away. Queen of Pain's Side of Vice or whatever is so far away. They need pickoffs. They may find Envy, but where's the lockdown? Silence is there, no Mantis. Actually times that Split Earth perfectly. It's once again, it's Jerex, Split Earth, getting them kills, making things happen for QPad, because without that Split Earth, sure, the Orchid's there, he mantis it off, and then he gets away. So really well-placed Split Earth coming out from Jerex.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly what they needed to lock him down. They had the initiation, they had the high ground vision, and unfortunately his reaction was just, it had to be perfect to dodge out a Split Earth or to, avoid all that, and it just wasn't. I mean, that's not something you can expect from somebody, at least a human individual, so of course Eternal Envy is just that, and we see on RP.
Catch you. There's going to be a buyback of the Animates to time it up perfectly. Fiend's Grip, who's actually on it? Couldn't quite tell that. He used it on someone. Queen of Pain is dead, so I'm guessing the Queen of Pain. Select now on the run. He's going to try TP out. Nothing to cancel it, it looks like.
Nice.
Mana Void. Antimate prevents Select from getting the hell out of there. Meanwhile, Leshrac will get out of there with a 4-staff TP, but it's another fight going pretty convincingly in KP's favor.
Yeah, and the Blink Pilate just was able to steal the Omni Slash, and that's adding in almost the Juggernaut's teamfight contribution right there in one spell.
Oh man, and T1 Tower going to easily fall, and I imagine even more. They're going to push on. Only 2 out of Tier 2 towers remain. We mentioned how big a tower advantage QPad had earlier on, but now suddenly things are pretty much dead even, and I imagine this gold graph, yep, it's dipping in KP's favor. They were behind by about 7k gold at one point. Now they're ahead by almost 3k.
So, quick pause coming on out. Not sure exactly if there was another spike or something along those lines, but either way, they're in a great position to take this away. Of course, this is Game 2, and so QPad still have a second chance if they do lose this one, but they're kind of on the ropes. The Shadow Blade, Drums, and Ogre Club really not adding up enough for the Gyrocopter, and you got to say the same about the Juggernaut. He actually picked up Drums, so they doubled up on that, and of course he has that Yasha, which you can farm Quake, you can stay on target pretty well, but the damage just isn't there.
Yeah, Antimate's going to blink back.
Oh, Omni mid. Yeah, he just Omni Slash
stolen
right
IP on Venomancer. He needs to get the hell out of there. His blink's on cooldown. Leshrac is trying to chase him down. Jarek, 4-staff, actually almost saved him there, but now we see Antimate blink on in looking for the Leshrac. He's taking a ton of damage here. Antimate, he may actually brought down. He just blinked into his own death. That was after buying back. Envy with a big blunder there. He should have maybe bought his Reaver before fighting because he didn't have buyback. He may as well be buying some items here.
I thought Wago was actually going to know. They're the thing. They're going to be able to bring down one more.
This is looking like a, really good turnaround from QPandas, and that was, so far the things KP's been making happen has come from good play, but that was just a big mistake from them. I don't mean to take anything away from QPandas. They managed to capitalize on the mistake, but some of that was so unnecessary.
Yep, Kaipi goes marching one by one, the throws. But, no, they just were overextended a little bit. I love the cute little play from Pilota where he was able to just Omni Slash right on top of Veno. What gave him vision on the high ground was actually a Rocket Flare. He's just like, screw it. He only has 900 HP, take him down. He did just that, but unfortunately, inadvertently gave the signal for everybody to try to follow through with that, and obviously they weren't in a position to accomplish it. So instead, they'd lose They lose the Bane, but most importantly, they lost Eternal Envy, who, as you mentioned, bought back. So he's sitting on 3,300, but he could be sitting on like a Butterfly right now or some other really, really powerful item. Instead, he's in the grave, and he's going to be kind of sitting in timeout for about 44 seconds.
All right, the good news is, while we're paused, I have a replay of that big team fight.
Oh, sweet.
From last game. I'm going to quickly play this. For people who missed game 2, this is what you missed. Wait, this is not quite... I'm going to back this off. I need to quite... My screen region is not working out too well. Here we go. I want to just rewatch this myself, which is partly why I'm replaying this.
I don't blame you, man. That's so crazy.
I don't actually know what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I don't actually want to know how fast it happened. That was disgusting. It was about 5 or 6 cleaves from the anti-mage, but they were perma-stunned the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay, there's more disconnects coming out. I want to keep watching this. Maybe even need to watch this on... Here's it slow motion.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Here we go. One more time, guys.
Radiant's middle tower is
This was the
under attack.
deciding moment last game, for those of you just tuning in. Kaipi were ahead, but then this happened. 5-man RP. Leaving anti-bane.
Rampage.
Roshan has fallen
It's
to
just
the dark.
filthy.
Immortality.
Well, we'll have to see if Kaipi can keep things up, because right now they're the ones with the anti-mage who is kind of sort of leading the way for the most part. As let me get rid of that screen, get us back into the game. Whoops. That's the one. That's where I want to be. What do you think QPandas need to do sort of to turn this around? Or, I mean, do you think it's very likely?
At this stage, it's difficult, but it's still possible. Of course, the BKB gyrocopter is a very, very big deal. Along with that, they have to have an answer for the Bane's ultimate. If they finally say, okay, well, gyrocopter's got a BKB, he's set, and then suddenly Fiend script every single time, really, really screwed over. So the Queen of Pain's Orchid and one other disable has to be on point. Maybe save the Omni Slash for it every single time, I'm not sure. But seriously, if you're losing one hero and you're already at a disadvantage, you're not going to win a 4v5. And in that kind of position, they have to be careful about their positioning against the Magnus. Make sure that kind of initiation comes. It's difficult because if they cluster, they get hit by the Mag RP. If they group up to, or if they split out a lot, they're going to get picked off by Bone 7 and his hook initiation. So they have to always really, really start things off nicely, but wait carefully about how they use that Omni Slash, in my opinion.
QPandas are actually going to make a play for this tier 3 tower. Anthony's still dead. They know he has no buyback. It's only 10 seconds though, so that whatever damage they want to do, they've got to do it soon. Mag's going to be looking for a blink RP. I think they realize 7 seconds is not enough. Mag can find an RP, can buy time, and they can kill heroes just with Fade Bolt, Mag, Shockwave RP. There's enough damage to do it. Well, Wagamama backs off. His BKB must be... It feels like it's been a long time coming. He still hasn't got it at 32 minutes.
Yeah. Very difficult from this position here. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Sing picks up. I'm presuming the size of Ice because they could definitely benefit from it. But, I don't know. It's still, whatever they do, they need to have a good initiation that doesn't let Arise control the battlefield. Because right now, with a Shadow Blade, a Blink, he's pretty much having his way with them. And now that they have the gem stolen, they don't have to... no, the detection is coming out. So good response from Mini and Jarix. They do have sentries, but nevertheless, they're getting map control. Everywhere Kaipi moves, they're going to continually just spread their presence over the map a little bit.
I think Kaipi, well, I think Arise is probably going to be somewhat regretting this Shadow Blade as an item choice. I mean, having a Refresher Orb or even a BKB would be a much stronger choice going into the late game, especially considering there's a silence on Queen of Pain. You definitely need a BKB this game, I feel, but he went for this more gimmicky item with the Shadow Blade, so something which can be punished, something which QPandas will see and think, okay, he went this item, which gives us a lot more options to shut him down in a team fight. It means Queen of Pain can look to be orchiding him, can look to shut him down.
It's going to be a rough team fight coming up, especially if Eternal Envy finishes out his heart. I don't feel like they have the firepower to bring him down, at least not yet. And so they're going to have to offer something big. BKB will come, but then they need to immediately get another big damage item. And right now, the clock is ticking, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit too short.
Yeah, T2 Tower
nice deny.
Denied by Sing.
Has been denied.
But it's only one outer tower now remaining in that mid lane, the tier 2, and something which I imagine Kaipi aren't too concerned about. Roshan respawning in about 3-4 minutes time, so Kaipi can't really wait for that too much, although they could just go back and farm, considering they want the hard on anti-mage. So I don't imagine they look to try break the high ground here. It's a kind of too high risk play, considering they're ahead. They don't need to look to end the game, they just need to look to get further ahead, which they can do just by getting map control and farming.
Sure enough. So that's pretty much where they're at right now, and I'm really curious to see if they actually have. I mean, we've seen some really cool comebacks all day today, and I think QPad really have it in them to try to turn this around. But the farm on Waga has to accelerate dramatically, because at this stage, he's only sitting on 360 gold per minute. His net worth is gradually just falling further and further behind that of the anti-mage. And until he finds an opening, finds a couple of ancients to farm, I don't know, or just wins one team fight, it's really, Waga is not going to be able to compete directly, and that's just because of how fast Anti-Mage can farm and how little Waga is actually accomplishing that.
Yeah, as a gyrocopter, that just, you can't really be this far behind the GPM there. And considering there's been ancient stacking happening and everything for him, it just, he's had a really tough time. And we're seeing Kaipi, the one sort of taking control of this game. But Anti-Mage still farming out the enemy neutrals. And this is what you really want to be doing when I say get further ahead. It's about farming your opponent's neutrals, meaning they have very limited places to farm. You have Queen of Pain pushing out top lane, and then the other 4 heroes on this Radiant side are kind of sitting around idly. Select goes and finds a couple neutrals here, but there's really very little for them to farm. Envy still farming out even the small camp in the enemy neutrals, so very little places for QPandas to farm, whereas Kaipi, they can be a lot more risky with everything.
So, Blink Initiation from Rubik has a lot of potential to make something big happen. I would love to see a Sonic Wave steal out of him. If you can get a good vector on that, he'll be in a great spot. We do see Sing picking up that scythe, so that is going to be a really, really big deal. If they can get it off, of course. Anti-Mage did not for BKB. Very rare that we do see them opt for that in this kind of situation. So, when it does hit, that's a guaranteed 3.5 second disables. They'll just have to use that time very, very carefully.
I'm disappointed in Eternal Envy. He didn't write down Roche timer. They're camping a courier here. That's shameful. Eternal Envy bringing shame to his fathers.
But still making use of the time at the very least. In this position here, it's like, you know, okay, well, I don't know exactly where Roche is. It's in the next 2 minutes. So that's 2 full Radiant jungles to clear. So
yeah, they can be more efficient if they know if they can just leave a courier there. And right now we see QPad seem to do know, because they're making a play around when Roshan's respawning. So if they win a fight here, they can take Roshan themselves, but they completely smoke past the entire Kaipi side. They're actually going to come at them from behind, which could be a good thing.
This could be extremely good. I mean, I wouldn't expect it. And in this position, Rise has to be completely on point. There's the side.
Mag needs to be brought down, though. He gets brought down just in time. Clockwork, the initiation can be too late. Mag is going to buy back for this one. Waga does have his BKB, and Eternal Envy being zoned out of this fight, it looks like. He can't really do a whole lot. Select is going to pop the Blade Fury. Has he still got an Omni Slash? It looks like it. Grip does get used on the Gyrocopter, not doing enough damage here. Zizu forced back, and it looks like QPad have gotten away with a decent fight here. Meanwhile, on the backline, Sing drops a Sonic Wave, not doing a whole lot of damage. Clockwork even buying back. Everyone buying back this fight, and decent engagement. Envy picks up a kill on the Venomancer just to support here to finish round things off, but they kill off the mag, they get out of there, and they don't take too many losses, QPandas.
Yeah, but they still don't have the RP available. They killed him before the RP came out, which is great, but then Arise popped back. And so in this position, I don't think they can count on that happening again.
And they also can't, there's no way they can contest Roche continuing. They're fighting into a mag RP. The smoke, they can't really smoke and catch him by surprise anymore, and with Veno dead, they don't really have the vision, so they're going to give up Roshan here. Unfortunately for them, they were hoping to sort of kill off the mag and then win the team fight, but with the mag buyback, it just got a bit too difficult.
Exactly. And unfortunately, Sonic Wave, Queen of Pain missed completely. He saw a Ghost Sceptered Rubik. He thought it was just too juicy, but unfortunately, apparently, Rubik moved faster than he expected, and he just completely went wide on that one. So, yeah, with that, they didn't really have much team fight. They have to give away this Aegis and a second Anti-Mage, and now moving in towards that Butterfly. What they're gonna do is try to go for a timing push, as to ignoring buyback, just going ahead and farming up. The second that he hits Butterfly, they're gonna go 5-man in mid.
Yeah, it looks like he's still got a bit of a way to go, so we'll see if he gets the full Butterfly or not. QPandas is going for another smoke gank of their own. Can they find the mag this time? It's going to be the Bane. They're going mag. Can he get the Blink RP? He only catches Veno! He whiffs it! He wastes it! Oh no, Anti-Mage is here though, so I don't even know if it matters. Envy doing a ton of damage here. Is there a side device? It's still on cooldown, and Envy, he's on the run for the time being, and there's going to be a chase onto Bone 7. It looks like Bone 7 may be brought down by Waga. Meanwhile, on the backlines, Envy trying to go back in for a kill on Jirax. Jirax forced up on cooldown. Sing Sing, he's there with an Orchid once again, so oh, Bone 7, what a cogs here. Blocks the chase, TP's out. Really nice play coming out from him.
Still, yeah, that is a reverse polarity rank 3 on a Venomancer with no ultimate.
Yeah.
So, almost, I would almost say it's just as bad as putting it on the ground. Like there was really nothing gained out of that, and of course they did lose the Bane out of that really quickly. So that's time. I was talking about the Anti-Mage finding the butterfly within the 6-minute duration of the Aegis, and with his current GPM, I definitely thought that was possible. But with that interruption, with the team fight, falling back, his heart has brought him back to full. But he still has a little bit of ways to go. 900 gold. Yep. I guess he'll just time it with the reverse polarity coming back up.
I think this will be fine for him. Roshan was only picked up about a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago, so there's still plenty of time on this. His butterfly, I think it's this next creep wave, and he's got it. So Mag RP will come back up in 25 seconds, and they can look to push with Butterfly Heart, Mag RP. Everything should be up for them, it looks like, and even some of these other heroes on their side with some decent item progressions. You've got Ghost Scepter for Rubik, Clockwork, similar story, as well as a 4-staff. Now boom towards either a BKB or an Ag Scepter with Noga Club. All these dire heroes with a lot of farm to play around with.
Well, I'm trying to keep pace, but right now we are obviously seeing that's easier said than done. 370 GPM comparing to 620, and he's not going to be able to pick up anything before this next fight.
Yeah, it's really, and it's the net worth especially. I mean, I think he's bought back once or twice this game, which is just, everything has just slowed him down tremendously. And now they're grouped up for that push. Envy, Butterfly is there, and he just goes high ground. It basically says, dares QPandas to go on him. He's the only one who needs to be on the high ground here.
They do have a couple buybacks, which will really help them out, but honestly, I think the double anti-mage is enough to deal with anybody that comes at him.
Homing Miss will be annoying. Oh, it actually hits him. I thought they were going to kill that off before, but it looks like they're just going to keep on slow sieging this. Rocket's going to look to scout things out, pop a bit of a harass, and realistically, defending this is going to be incredibly hard for QPandas. It's going to take a really fantastic team fight from them. Anti-Mage blinks in straight on Jerax, who does force up his way out of there. Eternal Envy then goes back to work on the TP tower, will get stunned up. TP blinks out. Oh! The Blade Ward cancelled the Blink Dagger! Nice. Mag, arise! You mentioned he's made some big plays. I've seen him make big plays on Mag, but it's not happening here. Now it's going to be Bone 7 who does get the initiation off. Eternal Envy goes into the cog. Meanwhile, Sing Sing is going to get gripped up. Can there be some follow-up damage? Sing Sing going to get brought down. Nice play coming out from the Anti-Mage and the Bane, and Waga solo. He goes down. It looks like there was a gem or some vision scouting him out. Envy back onto Sing Sing. Sing Sing's brought back, but he brought back right into an Eternal Envy Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage, he's got to get out of there. He blinks right into the Venomancer. He is being slowed quite hard here, but he's still got Aegis. They can just keep on pushing.
So
he's going to heal up.
10 seconds.
Arai's going to try sneak his way in with a Shadow Blade. Oh my god. Arai, this has not been his game, and I'm with you. I've seen him play Mag on multiple occasions, and he's had some incredible games where he's been MVP, but this has not been a good game for him.
Not at all. That was painful. And it was all about that play board. As you mentioned, the Blink Dagger on cooldown just at the wrong time. It looked like he could get a really good one off, at least 2-man, and that's all they needed, honestly. You saw how well they cleaned up without one, but nevertheless, just not enough. Fortunately, they seem to be doing alright despite of that.
Yeah, we'll see. Raxus start taking some chip damage here. Looks like, oh, Envy in all sorts of trouble. He's Hex up. He has got the Aegis. He's going to pop it, but this...
Orchid's up.
It's the exact position you had that
for.
Oh, Omni Slash stolen. Rubik's gone in with an Omni Slash of his own. Ghost Scepter's being popped by the Clockwork, trying to keep himself alive, and, well, that Orchid not going to do a whole lot. Here we're going to see Juggernaut thrown up in the air. Envy, he's still full HP. There's just nothing to bring him down. They used everything. Omni Slash, Hexes, Disables, everything they had in the tank was used just to kill off Envy. Now he goes back in, kills the Leshrac. He is getting focused down now. We'll need to blink out in just a second. Mantis is up, and, well, he's just going to fight. Select Mantis Style. Envy, use that Mantis Style. You're silenced, man. You're also slowed. He will use it and get out of there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. GG gets called by QPad. We're going to Game 3. It wouldn't be we play Group C without another Game 3.
I know. This is literally every single possible match. We've had to win as long as possible.
Both these teams are about to play their ninth straight match. We're about to cast our 9th straight match, and we've had a total of, what, 15 matches? Or something? Yeah, 15 matches. For this one group. This has just been an incredibly action-packed day of Dota 2, and we're going to have a game decided to round things off.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. But right now, it's just really strong showing. The Anti-Mage, of course, finding the farm he needed. Like I said, it was just that timing. Butterfly plus Heart, they knew there was nothing to contest, and the Aegis, of course, really making it so that there wasn't even that much consequence when they lost their big team fight ulti. I mean, if QPanda is in a position where they don't even without a reverse polarity, they can't win the fight, you know that it's just the farm went out of control. Looking at the net worth, that's 11.5k on Waga compared to 27k on Eternal Envy. It's just black and white, honestly.
Yeah, there's such a huge discrepancy between here. Envy, I don't know if he's AFK right now, but he's just going to tank up these two supports.
For like the next 10 minutes. Like he's doing backflips. I mean, I don't even know.
This reminds me of this shitty digest where like the Veno is just hitting the VS, although slightly less impressive damage.
They got this. They got this. They might run out of mana first, but they got this.
Envy? Oh, he's going to disconnect. And that's, I don't
Walking
think they can
back to
kill him
base.
anymore.
Oh, this is sad. This is really, really sad. They microed.
Man,
Go,
we
Bone
should have
Seven.
just microed him and killed... The Leshrac had no
Honestly.
mana. Mana
Sure
void that. Slam it. There we go. There's the disconnects. Bone 7 asks him to leave. There is an admin command to end the game. And it's good that the Radiant team do leave so that in the history, on for people with the Dota TV ticket, they see the correct winner if they want to get the game forward for them. Speaking of which, if you guys want to watch in Dota TV, there is a We Play Dota 2 ticket, which has only $4. And right now we're at the round of 16. We're almost at the end of the round of 16. Dignitas have won this group. Whoever wins Game 3 between these two teams will finish second. Then we have our last group, which is tomorrow. We've got EG, Liquid, Fnatic NA, and Cater Gaming going head-to-head. The other 4 teams in our round of 8. Who have we got? We've got Na'Vi, Mouse Sports, as well as Fnatic and Alliance. So basically the best teams that North America and Europe has to offer going to be competing in the round of 8. But right now we have to see who's going to join them. Predictions, Blaze?
Hard to say. Between this, I mean, both games were... I loved how QPad had a lot of early control with their smoke ganks in Game 1, but we didn't really see that in this time around. We saw a little bit of pressure on anti-mage, but they didn't draft for hard lockdown. I think QPad will learn their lesson. I think it's going to be QPad taking their second win in this Game 3 upcoming, but Kaipi still have some surprises to show, and we'll have to see.
Yeah, my prediction is someone's going to pass out, whether it's one of us, one of the players. 9 straight games is a few too many, but... We'll hopefully power on through. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to follow the stream here on Beyond the Summit, as well as myself and Blaze. We're both on Twitter. Twitter.com/BlazeCasting is him, and I am Twitter.com/BTSGod. So guys, game number 3 decider. I see LD's woken up from a nice little snooze, which he had in my bed. Hopefully he's going to be ready to take over if I pass out during game 3. But we'll be back soon with game number 3. It looks like they're rushing things along, so it probably won't be too long of a break. So see you guys soon.
See you next.